Hello. Today I want to share something that feels pretty vulnerable and humbling to me, but I'm sharing it in hopes that we can all find space to give ourselves room for growth. I've lost control of my inner critic. I'm going to share my own story about how that happened, how this may relate to you, and what you can do about it, as well as a must-have resource to make quieting the inner critic feel like light work. So I've said it 1,000 times. The inner critic can be so sneaky. It disguises our fears, whispers lies, all in an effort to keep us safe. But here's the catch. That inner critic is your own voice. So when it's harsh, you tend to believe it, hook, line, and sinker. Now, in my own journey as a life coach, I've done a lot of work on taming the inner critic. I got really good at spotting my perfectionist tendencies and the overly harsh self-judgments. Using tools like breath work, body awareness, I'd calm myself down and then offer a new perspective to counter those internal critiques. Here's a little twist in my tale. Just recently, I had a brand new realization about how my inner critic has been showing up. So picture this. I'm at my child's baseball event, feeling inexplicably on edge. And suddenly I realize I am in full mama bear mode, reacting to imagined criticisms from other parents about my kids' skills. So you see, my son was competing against much more experienced kids, and some dads were there, stopwatches in hand, timing every kid. And my mind was racing with thoughts like, why are they timing my kid? Are they judging him? But in reality, none of those criticisms were actually voiced. It was my inner critic creating a narrative, so I would be armed with responses to defend my kid. And what I was really doing was battling against an imaginary adversary. In the process, my inner critic was hurling all of the perceived weaknesses at me about my belief in how incapable I would be to defend my kid. Now, this experience was really eye-opening for me. It showed me how the critic, once stripped away from its original purpose, can shapeshift to find new reasons to exist. And the most crucial part, now that I'm aware of this new tactic, awareness is the first step to dismantling its power. So then, almost as if right on cue, the universe knew exactly what I needed, and I stumbled upon a podcast by Mel Robbins. She talked about the power of saying, let them. So let them judge, let them assume, let them make their own choices. It's not advice to be a pushover or let people trample all over you. It's a reminder that in the end, we can't control others. We can only control ourselves. So this was a really important reminder to stay rooted in my own values and not swayed, but by what I perceived others might think. If this story resonates with you, let's explore together how you can confront your inner critic. As always, I have action steps for you. So first, start noticing when and where your inner critic pops up. Is it during moments of vulnerability? That's a big one. Pay attention to the language it uses. Harsh, exaggerated, that's your inner critic speaking. Try to separate this voice from your own. So perhaps address it as you and not I. And you could even give it a name. Challenge its motives. Is it genuinely protective or is it just fear-driven? And confront it head on. Say, I see you, but you don't get to define me. Reframe its messages. So transform things like I'm not good enough into I'm growing and learning. And finally, nurture your inner child with empathy and compassion. Something I believe we could all use so much more of. The journey to quieting our inner critic is ongoing, but every step towards disempowering that voice is a step towards self-trust and inner peace. You are building the confidence to know that when it shows up, you have the tools to put it back into the back seat. So I would encourage you to try these strategies and let me know how they go for you. Now, a really important note here is that working on the inner critic can be a really tender place, and you can often find yourself in need of deeper support. I have a really powerful resource for helping to quiet that inner critic. I've created a monthly membership where you'll find self-paced learning materials to include worksheets on the inner critic and quiet it on the spot, exercises for confronting it and reframing harmful thought patterns to build a more self-assured you. You'll also experience the power of on-demand one-on-one coaching with me when you most need it. It's called the Success Sanctuary, and you'll find the access link in the description. If you found this video helpful, please click on the subscribe button below and stay tuned for more videos like this. Thank you for watching.